So 45 points still holding on. Nifty goes and 0.75% gain on the mid cap and about 0.9% on the small cap index at this point. Manisha is here with what's happening in the commodity space. Manisha, morning.
Morning, Prashant. Thank you so much for that. While there is, of course, lots of global cues to take an eye on, but it really is about the gold prices, where we have seen a decline for straight 7 sessions, trading at a 5-week lows now. And remember, we did see 1350 on the higher side, and we're just about holding 1287 on your screens. We did see a low of 1284 as well yesterday. So that's nearly $50 to $60 shaved off on gold prices in last 7 or 8 trading sessions. As I said, it has been about the strength in US dollar. Also, the expectation that the US and China trade resolution will be arrived. So the risk appetite is back, and we haven't seen safe haven commodities or currencies for that matter do well. In the Indian markets, it's a double whammy because you also are looking at the rupee appreciating, and that seems to be weighing further on in case of gold prices. So 2,000 rupees off from the highs in gold in the Indian markets as well of what we saw in 2019. Kishore Narne of Motilal Oswal now joins us to talk further about that. Kishore, hi. How are you looking at the gold prices? I mean, I do understand that the year-end targets perhaps are still in place, where you know, everybody has been talking about 1350, 1450 kind of levels on the higher side. But how do you read into this near-term volatility, and are you advising a buy at these levels?
Sure, Manisha. I think we're still on the same pretext that the dollar is going to weaken, number one, and number two, global inflation is going to rise. So I think the fundamental scenario doesn't change at this point of time. There's no change in that. So the view remains the same, that we should be looking at 1340, 1380 towards the end of the year. Yeah, of course, we have rallied significantly. So as you rightly mentioned, actually there are two things which has happened. One is that rupee has appreciated from 74 levels to 70 and half kind of levels, which right now, and gold has been failed to breach that 1320 mark consistently, and then now is off from the high. So if you're looking at the dollar terms, we are still not like hardly $30 down from the top. Whereas in domestic markets, because we have also seen the rupee appreciation, we had a bit of higher volatility in domestic markets. Given that background, I think at these levels, should one buy gold? Yes, of course, if you're looking at a perspective of more than a year or more, so then you should be looking at buying gold even at these levels also. But if you're a short-term trader, you're looking at a week, 15 days, or maybe that kind of a scenario, probably then you should be waiting for 1280, or maybe that's another $10 from current level. So I think that's where should be looking to buy on the short term for in domestic markets. In
the Indian markets, Kishore, do you see 32,000 breaching then?
Yes, probably. Yes, you should be looking at 31,800 is what the level which we are looking at. That's what the significantly positions could be concentrated at those levels, and that should be forming a good support for the gold in short term.
You know, when we started this year, there were a lot of voices on how silver prices also could be doing better. And we did see prices run up quite strongly. Multi-month highs is what we've done in both gold and silver, and a very sharp correction in matter of just 7 to 8 sessions. How about silver at 38,500 or thereabouts? Do you think this is a good buy too?
Silver, we have not been very positive on silver because we've been seeing that base metals have not been able to take off, and we've seen a significant correction in base metals, so which the spillover effect will be on silver, of course. So we still believe that silver will be a laggard even towards the second half of 2019, once the gold breaks that 1320, and then silver will play a catch-up rally rather than leading the pack. So at this point of time, still gold is the leader. Silver still will underperform, and the spillover effect of bearishness in base metals, especially copper, will still be pushing down silver. So we're not buyers right now in silver, but I think eventually, probably towards the end of 2019, that should be giving a significant beta over gold.
Okay, Kishore, just before we let you go, what's your sense on the metals and specifically on nickel? Because silver does tend to, watch for copper, zinc, nickel, these metals. And with nickel up nearly 26% for this year, are you seeing some support from there?
I think we should be seeing a little bit of cool off at this point of time in nickel. Probably we might see 970, 975 as a level where it should be starting to taper out, and probably anything close to 940, 938 is the level where I would go back and buy nickel. But I think anywhere close to 970, I should be looking to book profits on long positions.
Okay, all right, Manisha as well as Kishore, thanks very much for joining in with all of those strategies. We need to take a break, but we have the Bank Nifty, which is absolutely flat at this point in time. So do watch out for that. We have the mid-cap index, which is continuing its outperformance, but off the day's high. So up around 0.7% currently for the mid-cap index. Wipro continues to be a top gain on the Nifty, so up around 3.5% for that one, in expectations of maybe a buyback coming for that particular stock. Take a break. But up next, we'll talk about market technicals. Ashwini Gujral will be with us.